Hello and welcome to Asia Gaming Brief's face-to-face series. Today I'm talking with Tim McNally, who's the chairman of Nagacorp. We're going to be discussing the Cambodian operator's recent management reshuffle, as well as recovery on the ground and plans for Naga 3. Welcome, Tim. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's really nice to have you with us again. We're first of all going to be talking about the new corporate structure at Nagacorp. We've now got 4 CEOs. Can you explain a little bit about how that will work?
Well, absolutely. The first thing I'd like to say is good morning, and also thank you very much for extending the invitation for me to shed a little bit of light on that. As you're aware, on the 5th of April, 2022, we made an announcement with the Hong Kong Stock Exchange regarding the redesignation of senior management. The company for the past 27 years has been under the firm leadership of Dr Chen Lip Keong. During the period, the company has achieved steady growth, commendable financial results, and consistently over the years since our listing in 2006 maintained a high dividend policy. Dr. Chen, under the new redesignation, will remain in charge of the leadership team, and his title will be Senior Chief Executive Officer. Having said that, we wanted to interject some young blood into the group's leadership team. So really, I want to cover 3 things with you. Who's involved, why we made the decision, looking forward, and then also the timing of it. So the first thing is the who. One son of Dr. Chen, Chen Yifan. He's been an executive director. He's currently a board member since 2015. By way of background, Chen Yifan, or Fan, has an economics degree from the University of Southern California. He's worked within the company since the listing process, starting out as an assistant to the CEO, later became the CEO of a family-held business over in East Malaysia, another resort, so developed a lot of experience guiding and leading people in the hospitality business. He's also worked, whether it's property, hospitality, and the energy sector. He's also been involved in another family business front and center. So he'll be the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of operations. Very well qualified, like I mentioned, mentorship for a number of years. Another son, Churchy Chen, who's in his 30s, he's been designated the Chief Executive Officer, Finance and Treasury. He's been with the company since 2016. He's served as a managing director. He likewise has a very strong academic background in banking and finance and a master's in finance. Churchy also, on his own, took the initiative to learn Mandarin. His working background was investment banking before he joined Naga in 2016. He's going to basically oversee company-wide finances and oversee the gaming and non-gaming in team with the other CEOs. A third son, Chen Yi Wan, also known as Wan, another young man in his early 40s. He's been designated the CEO of hotel operations. He has an accounting degree from Middlesex in London. He's been involved with the company for many years. I first met him going back when we were doing the public offering in 2005. We were listed in 2006. He led a team that really put together the listing documents for the Hong Kong Exchange. He's been involved working in investor relations and some of the operational aspects over the years. He's also, interesting enough, he's what we call CEO of the Naga Farm. Just an interesting tidbit. Dr. Chen, who's always been a visionary, we've created a Naga farm outside of Phnom Penh in Cambodia, and we're setting up an organic farming approach. Brought in some expert personnel, a chemist, a professor by background to head up that group with Yiwan, and we're going to raise our own poultry, our own fish farm, as well as also vegetables and fruit, which will service our Naga facilities. And as you're aware, Naga 3 is just a few years out, so we'll have a lot of facilities to feed or service. So all of these individuals have spent a considerable number of years and have gained a lot of outside business experience as well as within. Other changes included the appointment of Mr. Anthony Chen. Anthony is our Chief Financial Officer. He's also been with the company for several years. Anthony's late 30s, early 40s. He's previously served as the Director of Capital Finance and Corporate Finance. He's going to oversee the day-to-day operations of our finance division and obviously mixed with that leadership team to guide day-to-day operations. Another seasoned senior executive is Sean Tan. Sean has been serving as a CFO. He'll carry now the title of CFO in the founder's office. Essentially, he's going to be the senior advisor to Dr. Chen and the board regarding corporate finance and capital finance strategies. This is a good movement of personnel within, give them broader experiences, and obviously use their expertise and talents to our benefit. What I'll emphasize is that Dr. Chen, he'll provide the direction, develop the strategies, and basically I think this leadership team that he's put together will produce both the financial accomplishments as well as the high quality products that are required in this type of business. Does that mean we're disregarding some of the old hats, old hands like myself? No. As you can see, I'm not 30 or 40 years old, and Dr. Chen likewise. So other key members of the company, though, leadership group will continue. Myself, I'll continue as chairman. Philip Lee, our former CFO, will continue as the executive deputy chairman. Mike Nye, who's a very familiar figure in the gaming business, he'll continue as our chief operating officer. He's been with us for almost a decade. I think he came from the Venetian Macau. He's done an outstanding job for us and made a large contribution. Chen Yi Pern, another son of Dr. Chen, he'll continue as a managing director. He's been part of the CEO cabinet in the past. He's focused a great deal on external relations. He's dealt with legislative affairs of the government. He deals with the private sector on different type of community events. He's really spearheaded our charitable contributions, our efforts during COVID to get food and medical supplies, that's masks, testing equipment in the various communities in Cambodia. So he'll continue, and his title will be, he'll be our Director of Environmental, Social, and Governance Activity, ESG activities for the company. So why the leadership changes? Well, succession planning obviously has been a critical part of Naga's long-term strategic planning. Dr. Chen and I have been talking about this sort of thing for a number of years. We felt it's time to both announce as well as focus on the future leadership of the company, concentrate on the further development of this next generation of leaders. And basically, I think also with the benefit of a lot of the senior people who have been in place, we'll be able to share some of our experiences, teaching lessons, if you will, and it'll foster a very good transition to the next generation of leadership. What we've also seen in terms of an advantage is just the urban growth of Phnom Penh. I think when I first became involved in the company in 2005, population was around 1.2, 1.3. It's over 2 million people now in the Phnom Penh area. Projections for 2030 take it as high as 2.8 million. A lot of businesses, small businesses, many of them Chinese nationals, Koreans have moved there. That's increased our demand, and that's assisted us in building that mass market. So the growth, and then also we continue to have the tax advantage in relation to Macau, Singapore, or otherwise. We have a new gaming law with a fixed tax, the 7 on the mass and 4 on the VIP. And then obviously we still enjoy, in terms of labor costs and labor construction costs, some advantages there.
You just said you were just in Cambodia. What are you seeing on the ground in terms of recovery? Are you seeing tourists in the property, or is it mainly locals? What are you?
The answer is yes and yes. It's early in the recovery. As you recall, we didn't really, it was October of 2021 when we opened again, the fourth quarter. And obviously we've had the benefit of the first quarter as well. Foot traffic has ramped up week to week, month to month. I can tell you that we're over 5,000 some visitors per day. Sometimes on weekends or high periods as high as 7,000 a day. That's still not quite the pre-COVID numbers, but yes, the traffic is picking up. As you're aware, Cambodia had a very successful effort in terms of vaccinating their population. Over 80-some% of the country was vaccinated, 85, 86. The Phnom Penh city area was 94%. The government really, in the fall of the year with the vaccination effort, made a very concerted, decisive action to get the economy back open. Cambodia, I think, has been viewed by different world health bodies as being one of the best in terms of initiative. So we are seeing tourism coming back. Pre-COVID, we had as many as close to 900 flights weekly. We're still well under that. But we are seeing now, with restrictions being lifted in Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, we are getting visitors now.
So let's move on to your future plans. Naga 3 is, what's the timeline for this one, and what's it going to involve?
If there's any one project where, I can see by the enthusiasm in his face and the glint in his eye, Dr. Chen is very focused on the Naga 3 project. Despite COVID, with small periods, we continue to work our way through working on the foundation. During this last 2 years, we've been able to keep construction crews out there. Your question in timetable, we're still sticking to a close working schedule. I think we had originally announced 2025. We're still shooting for that. Whether it slips to 2026, some of that will obviously be conditions on the ground. Like I mentioned, as far as whether it's investigating the content of the soil, whether it's pilings, dealing with the mechanical and electrical, the concrete walls supporting the structure, getting in the back of the house, the underground operations, that's all underway now. That should be completed by the end of this year or towards the end of this year. We'll start building up from there. I'm very optimistic that we're going to create a wow effect and a destination that identifies Cambodia as a place that has a type of gaming as well as non-gaming attractions where we'll get increased numbers of tourism, certainly from around the region. If you recall the size of the Naga 3 project, 544, 801 square meters of a buildup area. When you contrast that with the size of Naga 1 and 2, it's more than double that size. We're going to add somewhere in the area of 3,500, 4,000 hotel rooms to the existing 1,500 that we have. So we'll have over 5,000 hotel rooms. The concept is 3 towers, 1 tower, more than 70 floors. That'll be the tallest building in Cambodia. 2 other towers, hotel towers, better than 50 some floors. And then it'll be surrounded with a 17-story multi-function podium block. That'll be the entertainment. The idea there is make it attractive in terms of gardens, call it a green theme. It'll involve conference, exhibition halls, as I mentioned, gardens, numerous non-gaming venues that are being in the process of being put together. We're going to bring in some major hotel chains that will operate some of the hotels and will obviously operate as well. But we're going to create a landmark destination for Phnom Penh. If you went back a few years ago, the Ministry of Tourism talking about tourism and the growth, and Phnom Penh would need 100,000 some rooms. Well, we're going to make a dent in that. And basically, we're making the type of requirements where we'll have enough broad, diverse type of products to offer that we can attract both families, travelers, business travelers, as well as those obviously who are interested in the gaming block. So it's a lifestyle type of product offering that we'll have.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Tim, for joining us today. That was great. Thank you for joining us today. Please join us every Friday for Asia Gaming Briefs interviews with thought leaders in Asia's gaming industry.